Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. My name is Zach, otherwise known as Pulpy Syntax, and today is a scorcher of a day. A scorcher means it's hot in an Australianism. It is 32 degrees Celsius. It is hot. It's like 100 degrees Fahrenheit. I think that's how that math works. It is warm outside. So I am in the safety of my lovely air conditioning. My bathroom's currently being repainted / renovated in a small amount, so my apologies if there's a lot of background noise, but hi, how are you? It is a beautiful day, and being a beautiful day, today we will be reacting to Miss Amberlynn Reid's latest upload, The Reason Why I'm Gaining Weight. Now, this was uploaded a little earlier today, my time, and my instant reaction was, the reason why you're gaining weight is because you're eating more calories than you're burning, right? That's all I thought of the title. I was like, boom, bang, dusted, I don't need to watch this. And then I watched it. And then I kept watching it. And then I rewatched it. And I've seen this 10-minute video like 4 times. And nothing's sinking in. Nothing at all. That, like, this may be peak, like, Amber content brain fog for me, because everything that is said in this video doesn't stick. Nothing sticks. And I don't know whether or not it's just today because I played a lot of Sims this morning, or like the fresh haircut has somehow affected my ability to intake the amberness of it all. Also, I got my ears done. They're fun, right? So I thought, you know what, we're going to react to it. I know there's got to be something in here that's conversation worthy. I just couldn't pick up on anything. So I thought, why not put myself under an enormous amount of pressure, turn the camera on, and just go for it, really. So with all of that being said, I guess let's get into the video. Now, as always, we are sped up to 1.25 times speed, and here we go!
Hey guys, so
Nice.
welcome to a new video.
Hi, Amber. Oh, editing Zach. So loud.
Today's video is going to be me sharing what I ate a few days ago, where I woke up positive, determined, ready to be on track, and I started the day really good, and I felt good, and then somewhere in the middle of the day, it all came tumbling down.
I think everybody can relate to this. I'm trying. Also, let's talk about this. I really like the way her hair looks. Like it looks great. It's got shine to it. It looks healthy. That's nice. The makeup is done. This is a look. This is a nice look. I appreciate the aesthetic of it all. I have problems with that word sometimes. My apologies, everyone. This looks good. In relation to the discussion she's trying to have here, I think we all can relate to this, and specifically when we talk about the illusion is being ruined. Specifically when we talk about the audience, because for a lot of us, myself included, I don't mean to speak about everyone in the audience. Obviously, we all have our different motivations for why we watch Amber, but for me at least, I relate to the weight loss and the weight loss discussion of it all a lot. Because I know this feeling, I know this. I know what it felt like to wake up with the best of intentions and get partway through your day and have it all come tumbling down continuously, like living that life day after day. I know what that feels like. There does come a moment, however, where you kind of have to put your big boss pants on and make a decision that is going to benefit your life positively rather than continuously giving into the whims and cravings of your subconscious, maybe. I don't know if that's correct, but perhaps we'll continue.
Calories and everything. And at the end of this, I'm going to share, because I have my laptop right here.
Oh, that's right. She went on my Fitness Pal.
I pay for premium on my Fitness Pal for when I count calories. It shows the totals of everything. So not only am I going to show you.
For anyone out there who's interested in taking their own weight loss or weight management journey, using my Fitness Pal is highly recommended for me and my story because it helps you count calories. Calories are ultimately the thing that is going to help you either gain or lose weight in the majority of circumstances, right? So I don't pay for my Fitness Pal Premium at all because it's not necessary for me. We get into it a little bit later in this video. Oh, something did actually stick. Wow. Like seeing the total breakdown of sugars and things like that. I don't, for me, at least let's just talk about me. For me, it's not required. The most interesting thing that I learned about my Fitness Pal was what calories actually look like on serving sizes that I enjoy. Like, I'm a 6-foot dude. I tend to like eat quite large portions naturally. I don't know if that's got anything to do with size, but it's definitely... my entire lifestyle has been built up around like larger portions, I suppose. I wouldn't call them small portions by any means. But to feel full, I need a large portion. But to control the calories, you have to find low-calorie foods or substitutes. At least in my example, I had to find bulk food that was low in calorie, enough for me to feel fulfilled and to trick my brain almost into thinking, yes, that was a big plate of food. Because just as much as it is calories, it's also kind of wrestling with the psychology of weight loss, which is an entirely like interesting conversation to have. I am not a physical or mental health care professional, as I always say, just a dude who lost some weight and happens to be on the internet.
Calories, I'm going to show you how many carbs I had, how much fat I had, protein, sodium, and sugar for the whole day. So being totally transparent right now, I feel kind of vulnerable, embarrassed, ashamed, but this is why I've gained weight, and I want to show you guys what it is that is causing the weight gain. I mean,
okay, cynical Zach here. Hi. I don't necessarily understand the conversation around being ashamed, being embarrassed, being humiliated. We here at Pulpy Syntax are not here to bully, shame, harass, do any of those things. I don't understand this conversation about shame primarily because this is cyclical. Like, this is peak Amber cycles. Coming online and saying how ashamed you feel, and I get it. I'm not trying to like remove that emotion from the conversation. If she feels embarrassed or ashamed, that's absolute like I'm not here telling her how she should feel. In regards to edited, uploaded, monetized content, which we always talk about, in those in regards to that conversation, why if you're creating content that you feel is embarrassing to yourself or makes you feel a negative emotional response, why would you film it? Why would you upload it? I mean, the answer is the money. It's always the money. But like, remember when the answer was, I want to take people on a journey, I want to inspire them. Like, that sense of inspiration is completely gone now, at least from my opinion. And I am an audience member, so I'm going to give my opinion on this media. That sense of like inspiration is pretty much gone from this entire conversation. So the audience is kind of left asking, if this makes you feel a certain way, why? I mean, is it therapeutic for you? And if so, like, is that a healthy relationship to have with your audience, that you're kind of like using the platform as a form of therapy that may not be, or a therapeutic device that may not be suggested or encouraged, because ultimately, you know, we come back to the mukbangs? I don't know. It's a hard conversation.
Obviously, it's the overeating
Interesting question.
and stuff like that, but I want
this
to
is
physically
very
show
low
you.
on my neck.
So I'm going to show photos of the food that I ate, because I took pictures of everything. It was for myself, for accountability. I've been trying to do that lately, but I decided I feel like it's important that I show this. So,
is it important that you show this though? In regards to accountability, that's a fair argument, because again, it's your channel, do what you want. Like, who the fuck am I to say anything? It's fine, but like, I don't understand the mentality of it. I don't understand mentally how it works to say, I can't hold myself accountable for my own actions, but instead I will create a piece of media for my very large platform to enjoy. The audience does not allow for accountability, particularly when you're talking about someone like Amber's audience, where it's a very vocal, very I will call out the shenanigans type of audience. So it's just curious. Also, in this lighting, I feel like her hair may have some dry shampoo in it. Just this, or it's the lighting.
Let's get into it.
The shine is just
for
severe.
Meal one, I had a Premier protein shake and cookies and cream.
Why?
It was 160 calories. I'm referencing on my FitnessPal on my laptop. If you guys see me look over here, it was
I would love to know why a protein shake is in Amber's diet. If it's so that she can get more protein into her diet, I feel like there are probably more fulfilling ways, and we'll get into it later into this video. There are probably more fulfilling ways to introduce higher protein foods into your diet. Why start off the day with a protein shake? I don't understand.
First time I ever had the cookies and cream flavor of the Premier protein, and I want to say I have tried chocolate and vanilla as well. And out of the three, the vanilla is disgusting. Premier protein, cookies and cream is the way to grow. It's the way to go. So I definitely recommend it. So for meal number 2, I made a veggie stir fry.
I won't be drinking it. I have protein powder because I have realized when I first started when I first started dieting, I realized I wasn't accustomed to higher levels of protein in my diet. So in a way to flip my energy reliance from carbs to protein, I had to do it in ways that weren't food related to start off with. So it was like I was drinking, say, a 750 ml iced coffee packed full of sugar and full fat milk every day. I was wasting between 300 and 600 calories every day on iced coffee. You know what's a really good replacement for an iced coffee? A protein shake. So in that element, like it's literally a replacement. Giving myself 120 calories versus 300 or 600 calories was a way for me to curb my reliance on carbohydrates by switching it to sugar. That then led into like educating myself about proteins, doing all of that stuff. In Amber's instance, the protein shake doesn't seem to be replacing anything. So like it's just it fully reads like one of those things where it's like, I've heard healthy people take protein shakes, so I will just start my day with a protein shake without actually understanding the reasons as to why. I don't know. I'm trying to understand what we're being told here as an audience member. Feel free to let me know in the chat what message we're trying to take away from this.
So I had baby carrots that were 35 calories that I cut up myself.
I
had broccoli, which was 60 calories. Some baby sweet corn, which came out to 60 calories. The water chestnuts came out to 100. And then I used 6 tablespoons of General Tso sauce, which was 198 calories. So for this meal, it was 453. Honestly,
this is not about Amber. This is about me. All of these reactions to be about me, to be fair. In regards to like a stir-fry sauce, I prefer to make my own from a mixture of sauces. I like to measure everything. I don't know how much 6 tablespoons really looks like in terms of this sauce in particular, although things like stir-fry sauces tend to be higher in sugars, so there's all that to worry about. Is it really a concern in the grand scheme of things? Absolutely not. It seems like it would have worked out and been delicious. Another bug. But just the thought for me.
Super delicious. I 10 out of 10 recommend. I thoroughly loved it, and it filled me up like a lot. So I'm not sure what switched inside of me. I overeat in large quantities for several different reasons, and it just felt very robotic. I felt like I couldn't control myself.
Look, I get this. We've spoken before. I do not have a diagnosis in regards to my relationship with food. I know that my relationship with food has not always been healthy. It's much healthier now. However, I will still have moments where I'll walk into the kitchen and be like, that's a thing. And then 2 minutes later, the thing is gone because I've eaten it all. It's not as if I black out. I'm fully conscious of what I'm doing when I overeat. But I'm trying to visualize it as like a switch, like a willpower switch, where the willpower's, it's going, it's good, we're fine, we're focused, we're all good, and then all of a sudden there's something in front of me and it'll be turned off. And it's just like, it doesn't matter. I don't need to count that. It's fine. We'll just switch that off. So much so that it's like peanut butter is becoming a hard thing to keep in the house because it's like, I'll just have 1 tablespoon of peanut butter. It's fine. Which will turn into 2 tablespoons of peanut butter. And if you've ever measured peanut butter by weight, you know that's calorie dense, mama. So, I relate to this. I relate to reaching a point in the day or reaching a point in time where you kind of just switch off. You completely lose focus. The problem is that you need to realize these things are happening, and if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. You can't live with regret, which is a general a general piece of advice I like to live by. You can't live with regret. There's no point to it. You can learn from your previous mistakes, but there's no point in carrying them with you. So even though I know there are elements of overeating in my relationship with food, that's okay. I can acknowledge them, and I can try to teach myself, what were my emotional thoughts, or what was I feeling in that moment? What was happening with me that made me kind of just want to switch off and just make myself happy with food? Or was it that I was trying to make myself happy with food, or is my calorie intake just too low? Am I dieting too much that, like, there's a subconscious element to it all where it says, quick, like, look, calories, go in for it? Probably a really good question to pose to a medical or physical healthcare professional, which is the advice I'm going to give to Miss Amberlynn. I think that she has spoken about this issue so frequently, and it is one of those issues that her audience is fully aware of, that continuously calls it out, that says, look, if this is you can't do this on your own. It's well documented that Amber can't facilitate her own diet by herself. So therapy. I think that is the end goal. It is, Amber, you need to talk to someone, find someone who can assist you with tools, who can help you build a toolbox, basically, to give you the tools so that you're able to be successful. Because ultimately, that's what all of us want. We just want to see people successful, at least from my perspective. I just want to see Amber work. Like, make it work. But sitting here and telling us all the reasons why it didn't work, I don't think is beneficial. It's not, what is it going to do? What is the point? It's just going to make some money and just, like, that's it? I think that's it.
With everything that I'm about to show you. So prior to these next food decisions, I guess you could say, they're not even decisions, because it's like I literally felt like it wasn't me. The first,
they're decisions. You've got to own it. Even if you felt completely disconnected from what you were doing in the kitchen, or your, the eating habits that were occurring, it's you. You've got to take responsibility for your own actions. It's called accountability. That was the purpose of this channel way back when. It was about keeping Amber accountable, helping her to be accountable for herself, seeing a successful diet journey. We never got it. But you kind of have to learn. You can't just keep blaming the binge monster. You can't just keep blaming, words are hard. You can't just keep blaming, like, an external element, because all of this is internal. It doesn't matter whether or not you're disassociated between your body and your mind. It doesn't matter whether or not you're disassociating your subconscious actions from your conscious thoughts. Like, it is all you. It is all you as one individual. So what you need to do is you need to figure out all of those elements that you don't particularly enjoy or understand, and find a way to explore them with a healthcare professional, in my opinion. We'll continue.
First 2 meals that I had, I was very intuitive with it. I was thinking about what I feel like would be right for me.
All right.
And my calorie limit and what would make me feel the best. But everything I eat from this point on, I wasn't thinking. I'm not making excuses whatsoever. It's just,
well, you are.
It's how it is for me, unfortunately. So here we have a box of Wheat Thins, and we have this garlic and herb soft spreadable cheese, which is super amazing. So they were both unopened, and by the time I was done, I ate the whole bag of Wheat Thins, which is 128 pieces according to their nutritional
you just how many
thing on the back of it.
Calories are in the box.
And I ate all of the garlic and herb cheese, which is so good, which supposedly is 18 tablespoons. So for the Wheat Thins, it was 1,120 calories, and for the spreadable cheese was 600 calories, which came out to 1,720.
That sounds right. I mean, I'd believe it. I'm taking all of this at face value, so that's absolutely believable. Long-time viewers of the Pulpy Syntax channel will know, unfortunately, good Zach, when being good, can't have cheese in the house. It is a thing that still cannot be in the house in large portions, because I will have a moment of weakness, or I'll have a bad day, or I'll have something, and I will want to eat the whole thing. So my advice to Amber, if the diet is seriously something that you want to consider, in all honesty, because I relate to Amber so much in this, moderation sometimes doesn't work. It just sometimes doesn't work. Sometimes you can try your hardest and you can be educated and you can learn and you can be in tune with your own emotions. But sometimes moderation isn't the road to success. Sometimes it is restriction. And sometimes that restriction just needs to be, I can't keep this food in my house, because you can call it a trigger food. You can call it a food that you overeat on. Sometimes I just can't have this in the house, right? When I first started dieting, I said to Good Pete, who's my housemate, I said to him, look, I'm doing this thing. I know this is not fair of me to ask, but just so you're aware, if these foods are in the house, I'm going to eat them. And we had a similar diet and we had a very similar lifestyle, and he totally understood. It was an unfair ask of me because it's both of our living environments, but he respected me enough to say, okay, I won't bring Doritos into the house anymore. I won't bring like chocolate into the house anymore. And because they were all things that I knew if they were in the fridge, I didn't have the willpower to just not consume. I had willpower is in my my experience, willpower is one of those things that you just have to keep working at. You're not going to wake up one day and just be able to like miraculously do everything. You need to kind of learn the way your body and mind works. And for me, cheese is one of those things. And I kind of think for Amber, cheese may be one of those things where like it might be best if it were just completely out of the house, to restrict something like cheese off of your diet to allow yourself to be successful. Or maybe say, like, if I can go a couple of weeks without this cheese, because that cheese has been featured a lot throughout the vlogs and grocery hauls and journeys, like, it's quite clear that it is an item that you are likely to overeat on, Amber. So if you want to take this seriously, maybe you need to find a way not to get 18 portions of it at one time. Maybe you just need to completely remove it, find a replacement for it. Chips and dips are kind of one of those things that I very early on recognized that like it was impossible to count the calories because I would just keep going back. It's not like I'd have one serve, I'd have the entire share serve. So I feel this. My advice, if anyone's suffering with the same situation type deal style moment that Amber finds herself in this video, would be to evaluate potential restriction as opposed to moderation on foods that you're likely to consume in higher amounts of, and therefore overeat your caloric intake on. Words.
And I want to tell you right now, after this, I felt so sick. My stomach started cramping and it was going on for about an hour, just like these horrible pains. And it was 100% because of the cheese. Obviously, if I would have had a normal portion, I wouldn't have felt sick like that, but I ate the whole
Sounds like
thing.
Classic overeating. What did I overeat the other day that I felt completely wrecked on? It was something. I ate something, an hour later I felt like I needed to either be sick or take a nap. And it wasn't necessarily like a bad food. I think it was just a high fat food. And it was because I had not eaten portions of that size of that particular food in a long while. I did, and then felt sick. So yes, that's what happens when you overeat.
It was like autopilot. So it was about an hour later, and I was still feeling sick, but it's almost like I couldn't stop myself from eating. So I had 2 packs of these salami snack packs. I like to have them as a snack, but unfortunately, sometimes they are a trigger for me. For 1 pack is 150 calories, and since I had 2 packs, it was 300. As you can I don't know if you guys can tell, like, I don't know if it's visible, but I'm feeling kind of anxious sharing all this. Whew.
I don't know why. I don't understand this. This got me caught up the last couple of times I was listening to this all, because I don't understand why. You've filmed it, you've published it, you've uploaded it, you're monetizing it. Like, why say you're feeling anxious about it when you have a very long history of documenting your failures in terms of your diet? And I don't mean to say that harshly. It's just the truth. Like, I imagine you would be used to it by now, Amber. That's a shitty thing for me to say, but you'd think by now you would be used to talking about how your diets aren't working out. do I think this is a positive thing to do, to come on and share the failures? I don't know. It is transparent, I guess, but I don't think it's required, and I don't actually think it's necessarily all that healthy. I've said before, it would be, I think it would honestly be to Amber's benefit if she just took her health and her diet journey off of the YouTube. She may not be able to do that, but like, I think it would work out a lot better for her if she did.
Like, I'm just starting to feel kind of like antsy, and I don't know, something about sharing this day for me, especially this day of eating, is just like really hard, because this is like a really bad day of eating for me. And after I had the salami, I thought to myself, I need something sweet. So I had chocolate covered peanuts. It was 400 calories worth.
I'll say it again. If you're in a similar situation and you want to take your diet seriously, just go in and analyze, take inventory, take stock, see what's actually in your kitchen, and take all of the things that you can't necessarily control. It sounds bad to say you don't have control on these things, because you absolutely do, but you can overeat on them very easily. And depending on who you are, that sense of willpower and control may not be enough to get you through, I don't know, like a 2 a.m. wake up, or first thing in the morning. Sometimes, like, I really crave carbohydrates, and I'll have to like be like, oh well, will I have this? Will I go and buy a something from the bakery, or will I not? Like, it's a whole thing. For me, and it's really the only advice I can give, for me, the kindest thing I did to myself when I was analyzing my diet was to just remove all of the things that I knew I would overeat on. Because you'll overeat, and then you'll weigh yourself, and then you'll have put on a kilo, and then you'll question everything, and then it's a really hard cycle to get out of when you don't succeed, because the food makes you feel good. The shitty food makes you feel good. I don't think that's a problematic statement to make. Shitty food makes me feel good. There you go. Less so now, but shitty food in the past definitely made me feel good. So when I was down, when I didn't see success that I wanted to see, when I had a bad week, I could feel it. There were things in me that would just say, why don't you just go and eat this? It doesn't matter. You had a shitty week anyway. Why not continue to have another shitty day? Why not just, shove all the carbohydrates in your face? Why not go and get some chocolate? Why not do some baking? That makes you feel good. Baking makes you feel good. Now eat the entire thing. Like, they are internal elements that we all have to deal with in our own separate ways, be it with a mental or physical healthcare professional or by ourselves. We wrestle with these things internally. But to be kind to yourself and to remove the things in your environment that may potentially lead to thoughts, feelings, emotions, behaviors that you don't necessarily want to continue, I see that as a great kindness. Which is why, she was speaking previously in another video about deleting the takeaway and the fast food apps and all of those things. And it's like, well, yes, but I imagine if you become accustomed to that style of service, it's going to be very difficult to turn the instant gratification of it all off. Anyway.
So in this picture, this is all that was left. So this is exactly how much I ate of it. Because I had ate some like days prior. So for those two things, came out to 700 calories. And I didn't stop there. A few hours later, I had
chocolate
couscous,
and nuts,
and roasted garlic
Calorie
olive oil,
dense.
and I had the whole
That looks good.
box myself. And you can see in this bowl, this is how much it was. It doesn't look like a lot, but it was a whole box, and that came out to 810 calories. Mm-hmm. And I remember while I was eating it, I was probably halfway through with the bowl, and I was no longer hungry. I was full. My stomach hurt. I was bloating. I felt miserable, sluggish, but it's like I couldn't stop eating it. And
I relate to that a lot. I don't know if I've shared this story before. There is a grocery store here called Woolworths. They have banging ham and cheese rolls. So it's just like the most processed white bread rolls imaginable, with a whole heap of cheese and a whole heap of really shitty processed ham on top. And they are delicious. And what I used to do is we'd go late at night to Woolworths. We'd get 1 or 2 packs of them, packs of 4, and I'd usually go to the meat section and get those awful pre-cooked, processed, like chicken schnitzel things or crumbed chicken things. I'd come home, I'd heat them up. I would literally have a ham and cheese roll with a chicken tenders in the middle. And I've joked about this before about how much I hate like breaded chicken or breaded fish on a bun or a burger, because that's what I ate a lot. I ate it a lot. I ate it multiple times a week. Multiple times a week I would have processed meat covered in breaded goods on a super processed bread roll with ham and cheese. The amount of fat and carbohydrates, and I would have 4 of them. I would have the whole pack. Don't get me wrong. I would eat 4 of them. I'd put them on a small plate. The bread would literally be hanging over on the sides. I'd throw like tomato sauce or mayonnaise on top of it. Absolutely disgusting. Foul. But it hit the spot. It filled a need that my emotional eating was probably needing. But I'd usually get through 3 and then be like, okay, no, I'm cool now. But I'd see the last one on the plate. I'd see the 4th little burger on the plate. And I'd be like, well, I've got to smash that. There's no point in putting that in the fridge. That's not going to be good tomorrow. I'll just eat that now. So sick. Like, I felt so sick. You know you may have a problem with overeating when you can literally feel your stomach stretched. Like, it is an internal feeling that you can feel. You feel the stress and strain on your organ because you have overconsumed. Again, not a mental or physical healthcare professional, just saying from my experience, definitely felt that. Not a good feeling. So I understand the idea of feeling like eating to fullness and eating well over and beyond fullness. And that's why in previous videos I've spoken a lot about how important mindful eating is to me, because it truly is. Being able to sit down, be mindful of the food that you've got on your plate, take 20 minutes to enjoy your food, have a big glass of water with it. Don't just understand that we get hungry, yes, absolutely, but take your time and appreciate the food that you have in front of you. Not just in the preparation of the food, but that definitely helps, but make it an event was what I kind of saw it as. When I eat, I set my little space on my desk. I put my food down. I put my cutlery down. I get my nice glass. I enjoy the smell of my own cooking. I have a little taste. That's good. Have a sip. Like, it sounds like you have to relearn how to eat when you start to address your diet because your habits have gotten so shitty. In my experience, that is absolutely correct. Because laying in bed, shotgunning, 4 ham and cheese rolls stuffed full of processed chicken, don't want to do that anymore. Trying to live my best life, not that life. So I understand this feeling of fullness, but my advice to Amber here, don't know who the hell I am to be given advice, but I've just had success in weight loss, is that the mindfulness about foods really helps you kind of reconnect from that switch off. So like when you're standing in the kitchen and your willpower, well, for me, my willpower kind of switches off and I'm just like, oh, I'll just make a bowl of this and that's fine. And I won't count that and whatever, it's fine. I'll eat it. I always find myself having the food ready and remembering like, oh no, wait, when I eat, like I'm meant to sit down. I've taught myself to sit down, to get my cutlery, to take a moment, to have a drink of water. Like I've taught myself to do this. So there are definitely skills, even skills that you can kind of build into your own routines or your own like day to day that kind of help you manage that switch, for me at least. So anyway,
this thing, when I have salty, I want something sweet afterwards. So I had about 4 tablespoons of this Jif creamy peanut butter, and that came out to 380 calories. Yeah. So that's everything I ate, and that's...
Peanut butter can be particularly hard. I love peanut butter. I've had to pretty much remove it now from the fridge, but I do have peanut butter powder, which is particularly good if you can mix it in with yogurt or cottage cheese, or like even just adding liquid to it kind of brings it up to peanut butter, but they pull a lot of the oil out in the processing, so it is technically lower calorie. Also, not sure about Jif as a peanut butter supplier, but I prefer stuff that has like the 2 ingredients base, because I think the best peanut butters are just like peanuts and salt. But anyway.
That's the reason why I'm gaining weight, because I start every day, majority of every day, on track. And then something just shifts inside of me, and it's like I'm no longer who I was when I first woke up, and it's so confusing to me. So
yeah. I mean, it's kind of a given. Like, I think this is the popular struggle. Like, I think most people feel this way. Most people get like, I'll speak for me. Yes. When I first started losing weight, did I get partway through a day and want to throw in the towel? Yes, absolutely. I had to be strict with myself. I had to love myself enough to be firm with myself and say, stop. If you don't follow through with this, you are just going to continue to gain weight. Your health is going to get worse and you are going to be unhappy for the rest of your life. Grab life by the reins, take control of yourself now, and just make a difference. Make a change. Which included counting calories, restricting my calories, restricting the foods that were coming into the house or my environment, and, you know, having a sense of willpower. And it's hard to see Amber have this discussion because ultimately all it does is reinforce what her audience already is fully aware of because of the content that she creates, which is that she doesn't have a great sense of willpower. She doesn't have a great deal of internal strength when it comes to the food. And a lot of what she talks about should probably be talked about with a therapist or someone who can actually help her become a little bit more educated and give her the tools to, you know, facilitate her own success, because her YouTube audience can't do that. We just can't.
I ate 4,223 calories. You know, I had therapy. 472 carbs, 206 fat, 137 protein. The sodium and the sugar is like what really triggers me.
The carbs would send me.
I had 8,017 milligrams of sodium.
That's a lot.
And I had 144 grams of sugar. It is.
I don't think I have to say that's a lot for the sodium, but I believe that the US recommends 2,000 or 2,500 milligrams. I know MyFitnessPal recommends 2,500 milligrams as a maximum for my daily sodium intake. So to have 8,000 grams of sodium in one day, that's a lot. Where did that all come from? On that diet, cheese, stir fry sauce probably had some salt in it. It's a lot. It's 3 days worth of sodium. It's a lot, and it's something to consider because salt is so kind of impactful on heart health, cardiovascular health, blood. Like it's just a large amount of salt is not the tea, sis. It's not it. It's not doing your body any good, you know. So interesting.
It's very hard to count calories on a day where I binge because it just seeing the numbers makes it more real for me, because when I binge it's like afterwards I feel so regretful and disgusting and horrible and sick, and I try to just not think about it anymore. And
I know there are going to be discussions about everybody's interpretation and definition of the word binge. I'm going to take this entire video with a grain/pinch of salt if you're cooking, in that binge and overeating we can just call them the same thing. It's okay, because there is a medical definition of binge. Whether or not that definition is applicable to the story that Amber is telling, I don't know. Not a professional, can't make that call. But sure, I can understand it for what it is, and for what I see it is, it's overeating.
That's usually what happens, but seeing the numbers like this is just awful. It's an awful feeling, and it just furthermore makes me question how I can continue to do this to myself. But it doesn't make me question why I feel as horrible as I do. This definitely, like, these numbers are the answer to everything I've been asking myself.
No, they're not.
Wait, why can't I breathe as good anymore? Why can't I walk as long as I used to? Why am I so swollen? Like, oh, yeah. You know.
So, circling back, as we say, circling back to the top of this video where I said the reason why I'm gaining weight, it's the calories. That's just what it is. It's what it is. And for the majority of people, it's what it's always going to be. The calories you burn versus the calories that you consume. It's just it. And that's why I'm so pro calorie counting because it's just math. It's math that makes sense and we can all kind of understand it for the majority of people, right? So I don't understand this narrative. I don't understand. It doesn't explain why it makes me feel so bad. I mean, I don't get this. Is cynical Zach here again? Hi. Is this meant to be a ploy for sympathy? Is that what it is? Is it like, this is not new news. This is not a shock to Amber. This is not any different than 2020, than 2019, than 2018. I swear I've seen videos that are structured exactly like this from Amber to say, I don't understand why I'm gaining so much weight. Oh, I finally calorie counted, or oh, I finally started Weight Watchers again, and it turns out, yeah, my numbers were way over. But it's not going to stop you from... That's not the thing. Knowing that you're overeating is not the thing that's going to stop you from overeating. It's not. Particularly if you're someone who has shown your audience that you are aware that you overeat consistently. That's not the thing that's going to make a change. A change is going to be your environment, the people you surround yourself with, or the internal processes that you still don't seem to be grappling with or grasping correctly. And by correctly, I mean that subjectively, to say, like, clearly whatever's working inside isn't working for Amber in regards to the control or the diet or the willpower or whatever. There needs to be an element of external assistance, in my opinion.
I just wish more people were open about things like this on YouTube, because no one's perfect in their journey. But I can understand why there's not many videos of people talking about this, because it's scary and people are judgmental, and it's really hard to talk about, especially to a bunch of strangers and like a huge audience. Anyone could be watching this. But I think that's the reason why I wanted to show you guys, is because I know there's a lot of people who watch me who struggle just like I do. You guys...
That's an interesting point, and I did catch it earlier during the first watch through. It's a very interesting point, isn't it? Because I specifically remember a certain video where, or was it a live stream that got dirty deleted, where the reaction content creators kind of got called out for saying, well, most of them are overweight or obese, most of them have problems, most of them aren't normal, or the heaviest amount of quotations in regards to both of those phrases. Amber said that. Amber said, well, they're judging me, but they're just as bad. Essentially, that's me paraphrasing, right? So to get this is a bit of a slap in the face, to be completely honest, because her saying, well, no one really comes and shows the realness, no one really shows off the hard times and the struggle. Yeah, we do, Amber. We really do. And you do it all the time, but you don't show success in it. And do you know what's, like, the honest truth? Many reaction channels have had success in their weight loss or their struggles with, their emotional connections to food, or, binging or addiction or whatever, right? A lot of reaction content creators come to Amber's content with a sense of, I feel a familiarity with this, right? Something in this content makes me feel connected to this individual, that there's not just a human connection. There is also oh, I used to think like that, or, oh, I can see semblances of, like, I used to do that. Like, yeah, definitely, there's familiarity. So, like, what? What are you talking... Like, sure, have I ever sat on camera and said, well, I ate 5,000 calories, now I know the reason why I gained weight? No! No, I don't, because I started filming when I had reached a successful point in my weight loss. Which is not to say, like, it's better or worse, but it is to say that we can speak on it, or at least I can speak on it, from a place where I have been. Amber, I've been morbidly obese. I know it sucks. And I know there have been many, many times where I have failed for a very long time. But now I am succeeding. And that's why we do this thing. Because I know, for instance, there's a lot of people in this corner of the internet who are grappling with the same issues that we see in Amber or Foodie. We come here because of a lot of reasons, but I like to think a lot of people come to this corner of the internet because we see familiarness in this human existence, right? We have been through this before. For a lot, I don't know for a lot of us, but for me at least, I know the reasons why I gain weight. And I think most people in the audience know their reasons why they gain weight as well. But
aren't alone. You guys aren't alone. And I know
no, we're not alone. We have an entire audience. We have an entire little corner
online who struggle like I do. And it's just like very, very unfortunate that like you see my struggles physically. I thoroughly believe that my weight is just a symptom of something else. Anyways, I'm just rambling now, but yeah, I hope that...
I don't like that sentence. My weight is just a symptom of something else. No, your weight is a result of you overeating calories. That's what it is. Now, what's the reason why you overeat on calories? Well, there's probably many, but you will never figure out what they are unless you receive professional help. I don't think. Because you've been talking this talk for years on this platform, and nothing has changed. And nothing is going to change. This is literally just another quadrant in that cycle. If you go and receive assistance, and this isn't to say that not everybody can do this, right? Some people can take control, and that's fine. Some people need external assistance to be given the tools, given the build-up, and that's fine as well. No one's better or worse. This isn't a competition. It's just your life or my life or whoever's life, right? There's no wrong way to go about it, except for not going about it at all. And that's what I think Amber's doing. She's not going about it at all. It's well and good to count your calories, but to sit here and say, well, this is the reason why I'm gaining weight. Yeah, obviously. Absolutely obviously. But your overeating on calories is a thing that needs to be addressed because there are reasons why you're doing it and why you do it consistently. And talking about it to someone who is not just a camera, talking about it to someone who's not your YouTube audience, I think would be a lot more beneficial, honestly. And it just sucks because how many times can we be told this? How long can this story continue of, well, now I know. It's like, Amber, you've been doing this forever. This is not a surprise at all.
You guys did enjoy this video, and if you guys liked it, I can do more. What I ate today's on track, off track, whatever. But I hope that you guys did enjoy the little insight and peek into why I am clearly gaining weight. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.
Okay, well, that's the end of the video, and I mean, the question was answered multiple times. We know the reason why Miss Amberlynn Reid is gaining weight, and it's because of overeating on calories. I mean, no one is surprised. There were things in there that made me upset, and not upset to the point of it actually being irritating internally. It's just that it's mildly frustrating seeing the same conversation happening and no change occurring. What's the point of doing this if you're not going to take anybody's advice? Oh, money. It just doesn't feel great. And ultimately, nothing's ever going to change. It's disheartening to think about that. The upside of it all is, though, that seeing content like this was one of the catalysts, I guess, for me and my success in taking control of my health. So if this video is a catalyst for someone out there one day, you know, having a good hard look in the mirror and taking control of their own life and their own health, then it's done some good, I suppose. But ultimately, that was all a bit of nonsense, and I'm not at all surprised. Anyway, thank you so much for getting to this point in the video. If you enjoyed, please feel free to let me know. As always, I appreciate your comments, opinions, and eyeballs. And I'll see you in the next video and or live stream. Bye.